Howdy friends, welcome back to Toy Box Nostalgia, where I am Douglas, and in this episode of Toy Photo Setup, I'm going to take you on a special journey behind the scenes as to how I took this relaxing toy photo. Look at that, that's awesome, isn't it? Samurai Leonardo, relaxing in a Zen garden. He's got his rake, he's about to go, rake some sand. He's sitting with his turtle friends and his rat friend. In feudal Japan, maybe he was just battling all day long, and now it's time for him to find his inner peace before the day ends. I love this figurine. This figurine's absolutely a masterpiece. I think that Super 7 nailed it in their Ultimates line for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. When it came to this figurine, it is perfect. It's so perfect. In fact, it's so perfect that you can actually look up the different parts of samurai helmets and samurai armor on Wikipedia, and you can actually see that all of it matches and makes sense. The mask that comes with the figurine, the Oni mask, the big demon mask for, with the big fangs on it, it's a piece of art. It's what got me into this, was just the artwork. I absolutely love it. But anyways, it did come with flaws, unfortunately, and the general consensus is that there are manufacturing flaws. I think they're manufacturing flaws. It kind of looks like an engineering flaw to me, but the flanges for the limbs are just way too wide. And the flanges are the discs that stick off of the actual pegs that go into the sockets. Mine came broken, unfortunately, and I purchased it from Big Bad Toy Store, and Super 7 still just wanted photos of it. I told them what was going on, and they just immediately just sent me a new one. They didn't even ask for the old one back. Now that's some kick-ass customer service, if you ask me. Anyways, long story long, I decided to take some fine-grained sandpaper and sand down the flanges that are on the pegs. And I started with the broken one and realized that fairly quickly that I sanded too much, and I had a hard time keeping the limbs inside the actual sockets during the toy photos. So I sanded the flanges a little bit less on the new figurine that Super 7 so kindly sent to me. Seriously, I can't, it's so cool. I love that company. Super 7 is just so cool. But I sanded it ever so lightly that the flanges and the pegs fit perfectly into the arm and they didn't fall out. So be very, very careful. If you purchase this figurine, make sure you warm it up a lot in maybe warm water, or using maybe a hair dryer very lightly on it before removing or attempting to remove the limbs to replace them with, different posing hands. Now, with all of this out of the way, if you're new to Toy Box Nostalgia, please hit that like button. Please consider subscribing for more content. I would truly appreciate it. And drop a comment below. I'm up to 8 subscribers now, and I love all of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much for subscribing. It's super cool. And yeah, so I'll just catch you after the break, my friends. Peace. Diving right into the camera settings, we see we have an aperture of f4.0, our automatic exposure is set to 0, the ISO is 100, and the camera is set in aperture priority mode. I used f4.0 to create a nice depth of field and a little bit of bokeh in the background. Typically I take all of my photos at night, which means I can control all of the lighting on the subject and the diorama. This picture taken during the day just meant that the shutter speed was a little bit shorter. So here we have our actual action figure standing in front of the little koi pond. As you may have noticed, the action figure head is from the regular Leonardo, planted on top of the Samurai Leonardo to create the illusion that he had removed his helmet at the end of the day while relaxing in the garden. This little koi pond that you see here was purchased from Amazon, and it features fake water, koi fish, and frogs. And here are some of the accessories. We have a shield, we have 2 swords, and we have a helmet. Now the helmet's backwards just simply because the face was actually sculpted into the helmet. It's essentially a whole entire headpiece, and that would have broken the illusion that, he had removed his helmet while relaxing if the head was in it. These little stone figures right here are statues that I purchased separately on Amazon for a gnome Zen garden, and that little red foliage came with the sand Zen garden that also came with the rake and a couple of other accessories. I'll show you one here in a second. But the little Buddha statue that you see right here, actually that came with the sand Zen garden also. The bamboo that you see is from Lowe's. I just painted it with an acrylic sap green color. And for my lighting, as you see here, I started off with a lot of warm LEDs. I love using warm LEDs because I feel like it really provides some sort of realistic life to the photos, to the dioramas, to the subject, everything. And this being a sunset image really gave me an awesome opportunity to do that. So here's two small rig lights. This one on the floor created a lot of texture in the grass here, as you see here, a lot of really cool shadows. And then this one up here in the air, I actually have spraying off of this gold reflector so that I could pick up some of the details on the left side of Leonardo. I had a lot of shadows over there without the reflector. So that is the entire diorama right there. That's the whole thing. This is another warm LED. I love using these little keychains. I do have a lot of lighting and professional lighting that I can use for the photos, but those little keychains provide really cool little spotlights. So again, as you see here, the picture was taken during the day. This is an overcast day, which was perfect because it provided a nice glow to pretty much everything in the room. And it really lit up like things like his teeth and his eyes and his bandana, like just little aspects of his face. Now, as for post-processing goes, I use the lens distortions application to provide little glowing and hues from the sunset. And I also use Photoshop to just brighten things up and move things around and add more glowing to the image. But that's about it. I honestly just can't get over how beautiful this figurine is. Like, it is so cool. Oh man, I love it. Absolutely love it. Even the detail in the back of the shell. So we hope that you enjoyed this episode of Toy Photo Setup. And if you did, and again, if you're new, please consider liking, subscribing for more content, and drop a comment below. And thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope that you all have a wonderful weekend, my friends.